Hey, everybody, welcome back to a special episode of Samp&Chance. We are back for round two with Cowboy Karl. I'm right here with my man Chance Michaels, and right beside us is the good cowboy himself. Cowboy, how are you, my man? How are you? It's been a couple months since we last talked. How are you?
Oh, I'm great, man. I'm doing great. I don't have any complaints, only praises. Life is going great. I get different things thrown at me, but the overall picture, there's always things to pick out that are great.
Awesome, man. So we're a couple, about 2 or 3 months now removed since you came on the show and you were starting a new journey and a new path. Tell us about that. How's that been going for you?
It's been getting better and better. It has its roller coaster things. It's kind of like training and starting to fight and doing these things. You have to learn how to adjust, and you have to throughout time. You're going to get better. You're going to get better. Now, how much better you're going to get, that's always questionable. Especially for fighters, they're going to have a ceiling somewhere. But as far as me and my comfortability and being in front of everybody and preaching, just not necessarily that, but obeying and just preaching the word, right? Not being fearful of how people are going to feel, not worrying about all these other things. And these are things that I am growing in. Of course, in my faith with Christ, is to be bold. And and man, it's just really it's coming along great. It's like every day I get more and more bold in Christ.
Are you still working out and training weights and
Oh,
boxing?
no, I'm just kidding. Yeah, no, I was actually gonna start training actually pretty hard this past week. I hurt my foot somehow, overextended in my foot on my left foot, kind of messed it up a little bit. But I've been wanting to get back into some heavy training actually, and back in the gym, and even back possibly in the ring, sparring and things like that. Just
You're getting
I
that itch
enjoy
again,
it.
aren't you? To
Huh?
fight again? You getting that itch
Oh,
to fight again?
I've never lost the itch to fight, but I think it would do me really well just to be in the gym a lot more. And my son, being 8 and boxing at the house, he's boxing a lot at the house and stuff with me, taking him to the gym. I think it'll be good for him also.
That's awesome. Have you discovered a way to incorporate boxing training and the discipline of boxing training to your ministries now as well, or are you working on that?
Well, I'm working on being able to prioritize my time,
Okay.
right, correctly, and because I'm a very kind of obsessive person in a way, right? So once I get started on something, I don't
Mhm.
really want to veer from it. I kind of want to just invest in this, whatever I'm doing, completely immerse myself into it. And
Right.
so as I immerse myself into the word and into preaching, into all this, learning about speaking and public speaking, because I don't. It's funny, right? Because the other day I was thinking, I don't want people to even look at me. I don't even care that people even see me. I don't want to learn how to be a good speaker so I will get praise. I just want to learn how to be a better speaker so people will hear my message better, right? And that's it. And that's kind of the extent of it for me. As far as training goes, man, I can't. I almost had a fear of it in the beginning that if I started training again, that I wouldn't be able to stop training, and I would just go right down that path, and I wouldn't be able to do nothing about it. And the thing with that is, it's fine. I love to fight. I love boxing. I would love to box, but now I see it wouldn't bother me at all to fight now because I understand my calling. Only reason I would box again was for the platform, right?
Right. Right.
To spread my message, and so.
No, I think what I was trying to ask you was how have you started to think about incorporating training for youth and things like that within your congregation
Oh,
as a part of your message? Like, because the discipline of boxing, like you take everything away, just the training alone of the discipline, man. I mean, it could do wonders for a person.
Oh,
Oh, you're right about that. I haven't actually started doing that. As far as that in with the church and with the youth, I
Mhm.
have started talking to them about going hunting and camping and kind of doing things of that nature. We actually got a lot of that scheduled. I actually leave for church camp in about a week.
Oh
And
wow.
so I'll leave in a week for church camp for the first one, and then a month later I go to the youth camp.
Oh,
And so, but we're talking about going camping just besides that, just out here in somebody's pasture, right? Going out there with a fishing at a tank and just camping out there and maybe hunting a little bit with the kids and just things like that. Just kind of just investing time with children, with the youth, because the youth are the next generation.
yeah.
They're the future of the church, or the future of everything, really, in
mhm.
all reality.
Awesome, awesome. So what goes into a youth camp then? What do you guys do? I mean, it's obviously a lot of activities and things like that, but what's
Oh,
the
yeah.
overall goal for these kids, and what kind of kids are attending?
Well, the overall goal for the kids is to hear the word of God, right? Because you have a
Okay,
lot of kids out there that I once never believed that in America we had kids that didn't know who Jesus was. And I
right,
remember one day in the boxing gym in Cameron, my dad had a boxing gym there, and I was working out. And there was this little kid. He was probably 8 or 9, little Hispanic kid. And I'm working with him, and I said something just jokingly about Jesus, and he said, "Who's that?" I said, Jesus Christ, right?" He's like, "No." I'm like, what do you mean? I couldn't believe it. And it opened my eyes to see that there's plenty of people out there that don't know who Jesus Christ is. As an 8-year-old me, I knew all kinds of things about Christ and church because I was from 4 years on, I was raised in a church.
mhm,
And so, but I take that for granted because I don't realize that everybody doesn't have that. And so, as far as going to camp, our main goal is for these kids to hear the word of God and to see examples of Christian living people, right? People that live for Christ, and to be that example. My buddy has a saying. He says, "You might be the only Bible somebody ever reads," and my job is to be that Bible that these kids read, and for them to be able to see me and to understand it and see someone that's actually living out what they're saying. It's not just talking the talk, but they're not walking the walk. And so in camp, I mean, they have all kinds of stuff, all kinds of fun stuff. Of course, tons of food. Kids love food.
Yeah.
Pool, lake, paintball, golf, all kinds of competitions and things like that. And then on top of that, uh, it's just the kids being alone together.
sure.
Kids getting to spend that time together. And the type of kids that come are from all walks of life. You see
Okay,
these kids, I mean, all walks of life come to these camps. And for our church specifically, I don't know other churches or what they do, but we don't charge anything for kids to go. We pay the whole bill for all
oh
kids to go.
wow,
So there's nobody that doesn't get to come because of finances and the cost of camp's too expensive. We pay all bills, and then we're also going to have the church donating things for the kids that aren't going to bring cash and aren't going to bring money to be able to buy things like at the concession stand and things like that. We're going to have a big cooler with food and drinks and all kinds of things like that, that everybody feels welcome and things like that. And we're also going to have things like deodorant, toothbrushes, toothpaste, all kinds of extra things like that, just in case we need them for anybody. Really, it's not pertaining just to our children, but to anybody.
that's
Sounds like
amazing.
these kids are gonna have a great time on this camping trip.
Oh
Youth
yeah,
camp.
man. I'm gonna beat them up, man. No, it's gonna be a great time. They're gonna have a good time. Some of them try to challenge me already, but
How has that been? Being a professional fighter, having built your name. When some of these individuals come up to you, may they be men or youth as well, like they see you. How long does it take for that awe to kind of dissipate? And
well, see, it's kind of weird for me at times because I
it's
completely forget
humbling.
about it,
Yeah,
right. So I
yeah.
completely forget it, and I'm like, they're talking to me about these things, and I'm like, what? Like, I forget that I even had that part of my life at times in all reality. And so as I move forward, it takes sometimes people they're kind of funny around me. I guess I could say it, right. They're not natural. They're not normal. Their normal selves around me, and they could go two ways because they know that I'm a preacher now, and they know that I'm a man of God, and they know that I'm gonna kind of act a certain way or I'm gonna believe a certain thing, and they're like, well, I got to be a goody two shoes. I got to be this perfect guy because of who he is, but it's not like that. So just be yourself. I mean, nobody's perfect. I
Yeah.
wouldn't expect nobody to be perfect anyways, and so it takes a little while.
Is there any way we can watch your sermons online? Because some churches
Yeah,
can
they're actually.
online. Can you tell everybody about that so we can put the link up?
Oh yeah, so they're actually getting all that ready right now. They're actually buying new
Okay.
cameras and stuff at the church because we're going to a transition mode right now. And they're
Cool.
actually gonna have our sermons online live feed, just live. It's not gonna be, I'm not gonna take it home and edit it and do all
Yeah.
kinds of fun stuff like that. And but it's all gonna be live and it's gonna be good like that. And it's gonna be through the Gauls Baptist Church because that's
Cool.
where I'm at. And
Definitely. Yeah, send us a link. Let us know.
I
for
would
sure.
like to watch
Yeah,
it and
and
share it.
then we can pass it out to
Oh yeah.
everybody as well. And Cabo, your voice is very soothing, man. I could listen to you talk all day, honestly. That was the one thing that Chance and I took away from our last our first round that we had together, and it was just like we were just in awe by by just your voice and just the way you present yourself and conduct yourself. I think you're on the right path, brother, man. There's nothing. Just keep building off of what you're doing, man. Honestly, absolutely. Now, I'm going to transition this a little bit now. So most fighters and warriors are known as alphas.
Yeah.
You're an alpha. You have to be an alpha to be a fighter, to be a warrior of your caliber. How does the alpha in you, is the alpha still there? Is it shown in a different way? Like when you're driving, do you have to be first off the line? When you're at the grocery lineup, do you want to be the first? You know what I mean? Like how has that dissipated? Has that died down? Have you?
Well, it's kind of funny, right? So my whole life growing up, and anything I was passionate about, like I was a very good runner. I had to be first. And I don't mean I had to be first in races. I had to be first in practice. I had to be first in everything. I couldn't help it. It's just how I was. In boxing and training, when we used to at the Plex with Danny Arnold, we would train, and I had to be first in all these workouts. I'd be working out with everybody, all these different athletes. Me and Jamal Charlo, he's one of my favorite people to ever work out with because he was just like me. The harder I went, the harder he went, and the harder I went. It was like couldn't stop, you know. And I've always been that way. I had to win. I just couldn't have it. I had to win practice, and my wife would laugh at me. I have to win. I get beat one day, and I'm like, that's never happening again. You know, like it would bother me. And as far as in the church goes, I'm not really competitive in everything though. You know, I'm not really competitive in everything. Only the things that I seem that I'm really passionate about. Now, the alpha in me, I have really submitted my life to Christ, and so it makes it difficult, right? And but there's times when something catches me funny, and I can't help it. At time, I say I can't help it. I can help all things, right? You can affect. You know, you have control of your own body. So, but there's times where it's like my wife says, "Where'd that come from?" I said, "What?" She goes, "Why do you sound like that?" I said, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "You sound kind of angry. You sound kind of scary." And there's things that I can't help it. You know, there's things that I was playing. I was coaching a football game. I was coaching my son's pee-wee football game, and I had a coach on the other team call me an a-hole right there in front of the kids. And I said, "Hey man, you got a problem? We can fix it right here, right now. Like I'll walk over there. I'm gonna fix it right now." And he's like, "Hey man, it's a kids game." I said, "I don't care where we're at. Don't make no difference to me. You know, we'll be World Star right now. It don't matter to me." Like, and it's I get to points like that where I have trouble, right? And of course he realized kind of the situation, and he kind of changed his tone a lot. And but there's moments like that I have trouble with to this day. But as far as being alpha, I have to win. I'm playing basketball with the kids. I'm gonna beat them. I don't let them beat me. Like I'm gonna beat you.
Well, that's a good lesson, though. That's a good lesson in life, anyways.
Yeah, kids try to wrestle with me. I say, "Hey man, don't wrestle with me. It's not gonna be fun. Like I don't play well with others. Like you know, and so."
So speaking of football, you must be a big football fan if you're coaching your kids Pee Wee football. Are you a big football fan too?
Man, I love football. I love football. Really, the biggest reason why I was coaching this team was because he's my son, and I love him. And they needed a coach, and they asked me to coach. But I love football. I used to love it a lot more, of course. But looking back on things, really, whenever I played high school football, I wish I never would have, because I wish I would have devoted that time just to boxing in entirety. And it's probably better for me that I didn't. But you know, but I love football. It's a good time.
Cowboys?
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm red blooded. I have to be the Cowboys.
Now, you guys just get it together this year finally, or what? Every year, all the hype, and then every year it's a
no. I I look at the Cowboys just like just a yearly letdown, right? Like if you start feeling too good about yourself, just watch the Cowboys.
Yeah,
and it's gonna start off great, and it's gonna disaster.
Yeah, we have a hockey team here called the Vancouver Canucks. They're very much similar to that for most of the fan base here. I'm a Steelers fan. It's just the way it is. I'm sorry.
That's good. I like I like all really good athletes. Like I have a team, the Dallas Cowboys, who is what I consider would be my team. But I look at these athletes because as an athlete, and I understand these things, and I can see this greatness in these different players, and it's like I admire them in a way, right? And their work ethic and how they got there, and I understand how hard it was for them in all walks of life and all these different sports. and I commend him for it, right? And so I can't help but like love these guys. As a kid, I was a Peyton Manning fan.
Right.
Love Peyton Manning, right? And I hated Tom Brady as a kid because he would always break Peyton's heart. You know, he's always breaking Peyton's heart. And as I grew older, I realized, man, you have to admire Tom Brady, right? And I hear people all the time that hate him and they hate his guts. And I'm like, that's fine. You don't have to like him or him as a person or whatever. And it's kind of like with Floyd Mayweather, people hate Floyd, but that was his whole thing, right? He became this guy that everyone hated for his stardom, right? He was the villain. And I said, but man, I don't care what kind of person he is. In the ring, this guy's amazing. You know, so you
Absolutely.
don't gotta like it or enjoy it or whatever it is. It doesn't have to be your style, but you have to give the guy respect. I mean,
No
he
doubt.
is who he is. And so
You see what happened to him last night?
yeah, I did. I did.
That's crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's a little bit crazy. I don't even know who the guy was he was fighting, to be honest.
John Gotti's son's John Gotti, the mafia
grandson.
boss, grandson.
Yeah,
Yeah, John Gotti the third.
Yeah.
yeah. Well,
And
he almost got
the
himself.
referee stopped the fight because there's too much swearing and trash talking. Then Gotti's crew ran in there and Mayweather's
Yeah.
crew ran in. Oh, what happens?
All I gotta
Seems
say
like a
is,
big fight.
all I gotta say is poor Kenny Bayless, man. That
Yeah,
poor guy.
Kenny. That's right. Hey, he hadn't had a good year. I tell you that much.
No,
Poor
he's
Kenny hadn't
not had a
year.
good
Oh.
year.
I'm a big fan of Kenny.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I like.
So let's go back a little bit, if you don't mind. Can we talk a little bit of boxing and what's kind of been
Yeah,
going
no.
on a little bit? I'd love to get your insight on it. So let's travel back to the MGM Grand that one night, where Caleb and David had their match. What was your thought on that match, man? Because like to be honest, yeah, for me, I thought that Caleb gave everything away in the first 2 rounds. Like he showed everything. Your thoughts?
Yeah, he showed everything, but he couldn't adjust anymore. He just David ate him up. He just had the better game plan, he just came more prepared, not even more prepared. I don't know that even made a difference, right? David was better than I thought he was in that caliber of fight. He was better in the stardom and in the under the lights. He was just better all the way around. I think that there's things that Caleb's going to go back and go back and work on. I think that he wasn't his best that night. Not to take anything away from David, I just think that I just don't believe he was his best. Because I haven't even heard Caleb make any comments about it, to be honest with you. I haven't watched any interviews of Caleb post fight, but I know that David is a force to be reckoned with. I still don't think he beats Canelo. I still don't believe that.
Yeah.
I still don't believe that. I think it's just I think Canelo's too strong for his style of fighting. I think he's gonna all those real quick shots on the inside, and I think Canelo covers up so good. He's got such good head movement, but he's not one that's gonna move a lot, right? He doesn't do all that moving and running. Not I wouldn't even say running, but he plants his feet and he's got good defense. He covers up so well, and he's gonna catch him in between shots, I think. And he's got so much power.
Well, the one thing we took away, we talked about this after the Canelo Ryder fight as well. It's like, Canelo is an old 32. If you think about
it. Very old 32.
And to be honest, I mean, John Ryder, with all due respect, that man had heart. That's all you can say, right? I mean, he had no business lasting that long. He had no business. Like you look at Canelo's face, he took a bit of a beating in that fight. He won, yes. That being said, we kind of both thought, a little bit along those lines, like, after David's performance and based on what you're saying, I mean, there is a possibility that I feel that he could beat him just based on the fact that Canelo's old and he's not old, but he's old in terms of.
Well, he's had over 60 pro fights. He's got a lot of wear and tear on him.
Oh, of course. He's, it's people don't understand how much wear and tear all that training does to you, not just the fights, but all that training is going to do to you. And the next thing is how soon will this fight happen? Is Canelo going over the top here? Is he on his way down, or is he he's obviously, according to his last fight, he wasn't. He's not plateaued at the very top. He's on his way down. The next thing on that is with the last fight is some people fight to the caliber of their opponent.
Right.
I don't know. So it's kind of hard for me on that one. At this stage, he is married now. Canelo got married 2 years ago, a year or two ago. And I think that I don't know that he's had a really great fight since. You know,
Not really. He's been winning, but yeah, not really. I mean, he lost to Bivol, but he said today that he wants to fight Charlo or Babu Jack next in the fall. So that's what he said.
well,
A
of
couple.
course he does. Of course he does.
That's what he's saying. Oh,
That's
okay,
what he
okay.
said.
Okay,
Possibly.
because I saw an interview with Bivol and they basically said, look, we're only entertaining you at 168,
Yeah, he's not gonna
and
fight him 168. That's bad news.
right, but he says you're not going to fight me again at 175. Not, because Canelo's contract to him was the exact same terms, exact everything that was for that first fight. I mean,
But on the flip side of that, if Bivol doesn't fight Canelo, Bivol's not going to get a big payday fighting other people. Canelo's a payday, so that he might come around when the money talks, right?
yeah,
That's
but
right.
Bivol was also saying today that he's more about legacy and titles right now. Like that fight, he'll entertain it, but right now, if it's not going to happen under the terms that he's looking for, he's focusing on better be that's his goal now, right? So that's what he wants to do, right? I mean,
I
at the
think
end
he'd
of
be
it,
better off fighting Canelo. I think that it would do better for him and his name and everything else as well.
Yeah, I do too.
yeah,
I mean, you can say that you're more into titles and your legacy and stuff like that, but people are gonna remember you better. You're gonna leave more of a legacy if you go beat Canelo again.
Yeah.
That's my opinion on it. I
No,
understand. I understand where he's coming from with it, but also I just believe a little bit different on it than he does. And it's not all about money. I mean, boxing as an athlete, as a business, it's all about money. But as an athlete, the will to be the best, number one, no matter what, that's not about the money. And so it's a fine line right there, right? And if I was to tell you that it wasn't about the money, boxers all around the world will call me a liar, right? And
Yeah.
but there's a certain a point to where you have to be the best. So you just got to be the best. You don't care about the money; it's all about the best. And I want to be the best. And if you've got to take a fight with somebody to do that, and you don't get the biggest payday, depends on how far you want to go.
well, right now the way
Cowboy,
shape,
if you were to come back, do you have anybody in mind you'd like to fight? If you were to make a comeback, is there any fighters you want to rematch against, or a new up and coming
Oh,
fighter?
I would love to fight. I would love to fight old boy again. The last guy I fought, but he's turned me down a couple of times before I retired. So I doubt that'll ever happen. I want every fight back that I ever lost. I want Eddie Ramirez back that I tried to get that fight back to and never could get it. I want Mario Barrios. I want that fight. I want I can't remember the guy's Omar Juarez. Of course Omar's turned me down, Eddie's turned me down. I never got an opportunity to fight with Mario again, of course. But those are fights that I would want. Those are fights that I would like. I would like to fight anybody. I don't have anybody in particular that I don't have a grudge with, that I would really.
What about from a competition standpoint, style-wise? You think you'd match up good against anybody like a certain fighter? Yeah,
I think that style-wise, I think I can match up good with most fighters that are of like Eddie Ramirez. That's a good matchup. It's an exciting fight. Guys, I think the second half of a Mario Barrios fight would be exciting. The first half probably wouldn't be as much. I think that as a fight with Omar was pretty exciting. I think I would be much better now. I don't think I would have that whole really slow, that offness that I would have again in a rematch as long as I didn't go stupid on my weight. But I mean that's here nor there. As far as that goes, I think anybody that is a halfway aggressive fighter, I think I would have a good fight with.
Cool.
Too very aggressive. I would be fine with that. I love to fight probably too much. And I love to bang too much, and that's probably my biggest problem.
No, for sure. We got Spence Crawford coming up here pretty soon as well. Your thoughts on this finally happening?
I think it's a very tough fight to pick a winner in. I think it's a very tough fight, and when they do fight, I think it's going to be a clear winner in it. And I think everyone's going to be like, "Oh, I told you so, I told you so," but I think there's going to be just as much chance that it could have gone the other way. And I have to pick Spence for two reasons. He's from Texas. God bless him.
Okay.
God bless him. And the second reason is I know he can take a punch kind of from fighting these guys he's been fighting. He's strong. He's his style. He so covers up so much. Actually, I don't know that I can even say that because I'm a huge Crawford fan. As far as his style, his legs, he's got so many tools. It makes me want to pick him. really, I couldn't give you an honest pick on it. I mean, I like Crawford because I think that he has more tools than Spence. I think it's pretty clear that he has more tools than Spence. I think that he has a different kind of power than Spence, which is more devastating type of one punch, quick kind of power than Spence. Spence is a physically stronger fighter. I think Crawford is just so smart. I don't know that I could. If I had to put money on it, I'd put money on Crawford, even though it's just from Texas.
And, fair enough.
But Omaha, say it out loud.
Omaha's got good steaks, right?
They say that. They say that, but I don't know.
Fair enough. Texas probably got the best steaks, right?
We can cook them better. They might have the better meat, but we can cook it better.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Has the phone rang at all? Is Heyman calling? Anyone's just checking in?
I've had people about fights. Nothing really that interests me. Lewis, talking to Lewis, of course, Lewis DeCubas Jr. He's told me anytime you want to, let me know. Well, I got you anytime. And so, of course, Lewis is he's talking about a grade A type of guy, right? Nice. Lewis DeCubas is like the best of the best. He is who he is. He's real. He's one of the, personally, he's the realest person I've ever dealt with. Honest, and he gets the job done. I'm a huge fan of him. I hope nothing but success for him, and because he is honest. But I mean, I've had calls and things like that with fights, and some, fights that don't even matter, right? And then some fights are better, and I'm like, I kind of want, it's like, kind of makes me kind of look at it, but nothing serious.
It looks like you're pretty dedicated to the path that you've chosen right now. So,
well, I'm very dedicated to be a Christian, to be a follower of Jesus Christ, and to live according to His word. I'm very dedicated to that. Now, do I do it every day, all the time? No, I fall short all the time. I'm not perfect at all. Am I trying to succeed in this sanctification of being like Christ? Every day, and it's on my mind all the time. And I'm always trying to be like Him. I'm always trying to say what I feel led to say and be bold, and not be worried about people liking it or not, because I didn't write the book. These aren't my words. This is a divine word of God, and so I have no worries about it. And if people don't like me, that's okay. The Bible said people wouldn't like me. It told me they wouldn't like me, because they didn't like Him. And so I'm very dedicated to preaching the word of Jesus Christ to anybody and everybody through my actions and through everything. Not to say that I wouldn't fight again with the right opportunity or the right fight, and due to the ability to have the platform. I'm not seeking my greatness at all. So that was a problem with me before, is that I was seeking that glory, right? That praise of, like I said, after my last fight, I told Dad I would do this for free. The feeling of this praise and this worship, essentially, from this crowd. They love you, man. It's crazy. And the feeling of it. I said I wouldn't train for free, but I would fight for free. And I think that's why I had to retire. I think that's why I had to leave it, because I held it. I was worshiping it more than anything else. And now I don't think it would be that way, because I don't see it that way, and I don't care. I've already been there. I've already done that. It's kind of like George Foreman, what he said. His conversation with God. He said, God, I'll donate my money. I'll donate these things, Jesus. I'll give all these other things. He said, I don't want your money. I want you. And I understood that. It's as plain as that. And now that I have given myself to Christ, I could go and do those things, and I don't think they would bother me. I don't care about the fame or the riches or the glory or the money or none of these things. I would have the platform to profess the name of Jesus Christ, and that would be the greatest thing for me. And I would love to fight. I love to fight anyways. I have no problem with fighting. I love to fight. It's in my blood. And matter of fact, I've been trying to pick fights with the deacons here at the church, just trying to see if I still got it,
How's that going?
Speaking of George Foreman, did you watch the George Foreman movie that just came out?
I haven't seen the whole movie. No, I haven't seen. I've just seen clips from it. And of course, I'm a big fan of him and everything he did through that, And it's a very powerful message he has.
Yeah, good movie. Check it out.
Yeah,
He has a very different testimony than a lot of people you'll ever hear. God really worked through him.
Yeah, no, I mean, I these are things I didn't know about him. Obviously, we knew everything about him in the ring, but these little things, like he never believed in God growing up. It wasn't until that incident in Puerto Rico, I think it was, or San Juan, where everything changed for him. Like it was that moment for him, right? But right up until that point, like he never wanted to say grace. He never was interested in any of it. He thought it was all hooey. It's amazing how it happens. Really, it truly is.
Oh, it's people say it's amazing and all these things, and I used to tell about mine happening. I said, man, this is crazy. People are like, oh no, it's amazing. It's God. I said, no, man, this is weird. This is crazy. This is insane. And they're like, no, it's God. It's God. I'm like, hey, man, it's crazy for me. I never seen this coming. Right out of left field.
There's got to be some basis to it, because yourself, George Foreman, and a million other people in this world have experienced similar, if not, equal things that you guys have, to a certain extent. So there has to be something to it, Ryan, honestly.
Yeah. Oh, I know there is. I have that relationship with Jesus Christ and the Holy Spirit, and I know there is, and it's just powerful. Really, it's overwhelming is what it is.
What has been the biggest challenge in your transition, and what has been the easiest thing for you in this transition?
Biggest challenge and the easiest transition thing in this transition.
Mindset, physical, all of it, like just changing lifestyles, literally.
The easiest thing is eating more food.
Right on. I've seen some of your posts. Good barbecue.
Good Lord, man. Some of this food is gonna kill me, I tell you what. And but no, I think some of the hardest transition for me has been just not being in the ring, not being around these people, not training, not doing these things. The hardest thing for me has been to realize and to adjust my life. It's funny because it went from I'm all out to boxing to all out in ministry, and it didn't really seem like a slowdown for me. Like I didn't really feel like I had any extra time. Like I thought whenever I would retire from boxing, I would have all kinds of time, right? I'd be able to do these different things that I wanted to do. And it's like opposite, right? It's just as busy, just as fast paced. I'm in the Bible. I'm getting calls. I'm talking to people. I'm working on sermons, and I'm not a professional. I didn't go to school for this and things like that. So I didn't have all this help making in sermons and putting sermons together and things like that. And I've actually found that the best way for me to do it now is I used to have everything typed out. I mean, like an entire sermon typed out. Like I could just read it if I forgot it, and which I did often. And it never was to me very good. It wasn't bad, but it was never, I guess it's genuine, right? I was kind of reading off of paper. It was kind of more difficult. Now I'll put like 10 or 12 verses on a piece of paper, and that's it. Just like, I'll handwrite 10 or 12 verses. Just that's it on a piece of paper. And it's like, I just feel like I let the Holy Spirit just talk through me. All I want to be is a mouthpiece. And that has been the hardest thing, was the transition into that, probably, is to being able to stop training and change my whole life to that, and then to keep up with it, right? Because I'm just as busy as I was before, if not busier. And so wanting to train again is scary for me, because I want to make sure I have enough time and I don't try to overextend myself, right? But at the same time, I need it. I need that release. I need that outlet. I got to have it. I feel like personally for me, I need to, and that's the other area that I'll be able to minister to people in my lifestyle. And I don't mean going to a boxing gym and telling everybody, hitting them with the Bible. Just, you believe what I tell you, boy. I don't go hell. Yeah, that's right. Go hellfire and brimstone. Be like, got Jesus and God, or which hand you want, which one is it, and so, but no, just by the way I live, by the things that they see my lifestyle, how they seen that I have changed, and the change they see in me, is a testimony. And that's what we're called to do, is to give our testimony. And people get scared of giving testimonies because they say, well, what if they ask questions back about God and about these things that I'm supposed to believe, and I don't know the right answer? It's going to make me look bad. Well, giving your testimony is just telling people how God is, what he has done in your life, how God has changed your life in your personal life.
Mhm.
He's not asking you to be a theologian, and to do all these things. And so, I got kind of off the question there, but
Cowboy, have you thought about training kids at your church in
yes,
boxing?
yes, I've wanted to train people and kids and all together, as a Christian role model. Not even, it doesn't matter if it's in the church or out of the church or where it's at, but just as a everyday thing. I love to do that, and it's for me, it would be opening a gym around here locally,
Mhm.
and just training kids there. And I think that I could do a lot. I believe that I could be a very good trainer. I know I know a lot of things. I can see things happening, and with my knowledge in the sport, I feel like I could be a very good trainer. But I don't want to take anything away from my ministry, and that's kind of where I was at. It's kind of my biggest fear in doing anything that I do in life is I don't want to pull from my ministry for my own gain. Because I love to box, I don't want to pull from my ministry because I love to box, even though God might be using me through there. And I might just be scared. Who knows?
Awesome, awesome. All right, Cowboy, I tell you what, brother man, I know you have a lot of things going on and you made a special time for us here tonight. So we'll wrap this up here so you can carry on, be with your family, and we can get to what's next on our journeys here. But Cowboy, thank you so much for joining us on this episode. Thank you so much for inviting us. If there, not to put you on the spot, but is there a message that you'd like to share with the listeners and anyone who listens to this? Something that we can make a short and really promote it for you. What?
Jesus Christ is Lord. Obedience is greater than sacrifice. John 14:15. If you love me, you will obey my commands. So that's it. If you love me, you'll obey my commands. His commands are to love the Lord your God with all your heart, mind, and soul, and to love your neighbor as yourself. Love. And if you do that, you'll keep all the commandments.
That's beautiful, man.
It's powerful. Cowboy, thank you for coming on. I just want to say one thing. We've interviewed a lot of different types of people: boxers, wrestlers, political guys, and all our listeners and people I know say your interview is still our best. Our first one, when you were articulating the word of God, your passion, your genuineness, your realness. I had nothing but praise about that interview, all because of what you were doing. So thank you, and thank you for coming again. This one is just as good. Appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. I can't wait. Hopefully, well, not hopefully. I think we'll do round 3 here at some point. Cowboy, thank you so much. Stay blessed, and if we can support you in any way to get your word out, please lean on us, and we'll do whatever we can to use our platforms and to use our voices to spread the word, man.
Hey man, I appreciate it. Hey, maybe next time you see me, I'll be ripped.
I'm looking forward to it.
That'd be beautiful, man. That'd be beautiful.
If you fight again, we're gonna come. We're gonna fight and watch you fight. If you ever fight,
definitely, we will be there. All right, take care. Thank you.